So Kamala Harris, I don't know why Charlamagne Tha God is interviewing her from the Death Star or whatever, but I guess this is his setup for his show on Comedy Central. He got Vice President Kamala Harris on the show. This is an eventful interview in which Kamala Harris gets performatively righteously indignant when she's asked a very legitimate question about the way that Biden is negotiating with Joe Manchin, or lack thereof. And it becomes so uncomfortable for her that Simone Sanders, one of her aides now on her team, who in 2016 was on the Bernie Sanders campaign, but I'm just going to say, I haven't heard great things. She tries to cut off the interview, and then Harris seems to figure out, you can see her brain working, oh, I'm gonna get real preachy, and I'm gonna try to go on the offensive against Charlemagne. And it goes so badly and shows how, frankly, untalented she is as a politician.
And who's the superhero that's going to speak against Joe Manchin? No. I want to know who's the real president of this country. Is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I interrupted. I don't think the vice president can hear you. It's Simone. I'm so sorry, Charlamagne. We have to wrap.
She can hear me.
You hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, Madam Vice President?
So I'm sorry. We got to wrap.
Oh.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
They're acting like they can't hear me. Y'all see that?
I can hear you.
Oh, so who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No. It's Joe Biden, and don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden, and I'm Vice President, and my name is Kamala Harris. And the reality is, because we are in office, we do the things like the child tax credit, which is going to reduce black child poverty by 50%, on track to do that. We do things that are about saying that our Department of Justice is going to do these investigations and require that we end chokeholds and have body cameras. It is the work of saying we're going to get lead out of pipes and paint because our babies are suffering because of that. It is the work of saying people who ride public transit deserve the same kind of dignity that anybody else does. So let's improve that system. It is the work of saying that we have got to bring down prescription drug costs because folks who have diabetes should not be dying because they don't have enough money in their pocket. It's about saying black maternal mortality is a real issue that must be.
Wow. Okay, so I'm trying to look up how much is needed for lead pipe replacement in this country. I believe it is something like 60 billion, and this is off the top of my head. The infrastructure bill the bipartisan infrastructure bill, am I remembering this right? 15 billion? 15 billion? I should have had this off the top of my head. But let me address the ones that, the parts that I fully remember first. So I am in awe of the incredible irony of Kamala Harris listing all of the things that Joe Manchin is blocking as the accomplishments of the Biden administration. Charlemagne goes and says, who's the real president, Joe Manchin or Joe Biden? I am outraged that you said that. And here are all the things that Joe Manchin is preventing us from doing that we're very proud of. Wait, what? So Simone Sanders clearly doesn't like the way that this interview is going. Charlemagne's about to get real and point out that Joe Manchin is completely dictating the entire Biden agenda. So she tries to cut off the interview. He doesn't buy it. He's publicly saying oh, they're pretending they don't hear me. I believe Kamala Harris is like, all right, cool it. I'm going to finish this because it's a worse look for me to cut off this interview. And then she hears the question and you see it maybe takes her 10 seconds. You see the wheels turning in her head. Okay, how do I respond to this in a way that's going to be effective? I know, I'm going to say, I'm Kamala Harris and I'm vice president of the United States. It's like the way that she operated on the debate stage, but it doesn't necessarily hit. She's using a tactic that would be deployed against her by racist Republicans to delegitimize her stature. An attack that was incredibly offensive and racist, racially motivated towards Obama. He's not the real president, so she's using that playbook. But that's not applicable to what Charlamagne is asking
or
here.
Anybody. That's not what they're talking about with Biden. Like with Biden, the right is talking about Trump as the real president, or they're talking about there's some sort of cabal behind him that's really controlling him. That is not actually like dissimilar to, frankly, my thesis, which is that Capitol and completely owns this administration. That's why they're not fighting against it. And particularly members of the president's party like Joe Manchin are completely bought and sold. And the president doesn't seem to want to be publicly fight that, or at least now he wants to do some press releases about it.
Yeah. Okay. And then when she says, stop talking like a Republican, he's not. He's not, actually. A majority of the Democratic base wants the provisions in Build Back Better. And that's why Biden's approval rating has been tanking among voters under 40, which are disproportionately skew Democrat, because they want a lot of things that Biden has promised, and Manchin is blocking them. You don't see a Republican saying, Joe Manchin's the real president. All they'll say is, thank God for Joe Manchin for blocking the crazy left agenda that Biden is trying to implement. It's pretty much the actual inverse of what Republicans are saying. So it doesn't work. And again, I will repeat, the irony of her listing all of the things like the child tax credit in an interview where that just expired, unless there's some miracle that by the 28th, they're able to extend the child tax credit, which is seemingly not going to happen, given what Manchin has now said publicly. No, that's done. And she keeps saying trying to do. I mean, I wrote that down. We're gonna do the child tax credit. That's what she says. Doesn't seem like it because of Joe Manchin, the DOJ, all these investigations. You know what voters really care about are Department of Justice investigations. You know, there's nothing more organizing than a Department of Justice investigation into some Trump lackey. Thank God for that.
It really is a sign, particularly why I think party leaders and party donors like Kamala she's a perfect representative of how you can speak to issues without any idea of what you do differently. Like when she hit Joe Biden on the busing thing and then sold shirts on it, and then a few days later was like, actually, I don't know where I disagree with Biden policy-wise on that, right? Like they can speak to issues, and the worst thing for them, like all these Democrats that like to speak to issues and not do anything about them, was that they got a trifecta. They got the presidency and House and the Senate, and it went to show that because if they didn't have that, they could have just been talking like, we want to do this and we need to do this, right? And it wouldn't actually go to Joe Manchin. It'd be like the Republicans would be the ones to say no. But Joe Manchin, right now, you get to a guy where it's like Joe Manchin's like, yeah, I'm not going to say yes to that. Clearly not. Like,
yeah.
Why I wouldn't get meetings with Exxon and all the different like anti-union car lobbyists and all that stuff. Oops.
Yeah. I mean, that was just super embarrassing for her.
Not a good politician.
No. Is there any, like, I think she would lose to pretty much any Republican in 2024. Go throw that out there.
Ooh, I don't know. Like, see, I think Pence is...
She could be Pence.
Yeah, like Pence, like those types of
But he wouldn't be the nominee.
Right, that's the thing. Is like anyone who could win a GOP primary probably beat Kamala.
DeSantis. It's like
DeSantis would
smoker.
Yeah.
Trump smoker. Yes. But like
Candace Owens, smoker.
Yeah, I mean also just think about the disconnect between how the Democratic donor class, they love her. They think they think she is really just the bee's knees.
It's pathological.
It's just unbelievable. But
so like never even had, at least Hillary had the moment with like the two phones on the airplane and like the girl boss kind of moment when she was Secretary of State. That has never happened. What's the best moment Kamala's ever had? like popularity-wise.
Attacking Joe Biden and saying this little girl was me, and then proceeding to join his administration and pretend that never happened.
Yeah, I guess that was probably the best.
That's
moment.
kind of it.